Our first topic is camping. Hardy, what is camping?
So camping consists of two different methods of camping. So there is face camping, which is essentially where you get hooked by a killer and they hold your hand until you die. Face camping, easily explainable. And then on the other hand, there is proxy camping, which is essentially when you get hooked by a killer and they sort of stay around. You might not hear their heartbeat anymore. They might leave the terror radius zone, come back, check you a few times, or constantly stay around you, to be honest. And the moment that you get unhooked, they're right there, ready to either tunnel you or hit the other person to try and get a trade.
By the killer in a snowman, or who was in a snowman.
Okay, I'm gonna go for safe. But yeah, that is what tunneling is. Or not tunneling, sorry. That's what camping is. In my personal opinion, there's never a reason to face camp at all. There's no strategic advantage. Well, strategic advantage, I guess, but there's no... Why would you try that? There's no, like, gameplay, like I'm being pressured or I'm losing, I need to save it. There's none of that, like, to make it better. On the counterpart of it, if you are being
I was being stupid, I'm sorry.
proxy camped,
I'll see you
then in that case, like, some killers might proxy camp because of pressure, for example. Like, they're being pressured, they're losing a lot, so they might proxy camp you to just get one stage off or to full kill you, who knows, but they might proxy camp for that. Which, sure, you know, do what you want sort of thing with proxy camping. But more so, like, it's mainly face camping, like, there's no reason to have a face camp. But yeah.
So another thing about camping, I just got hit on alcohol.
Yeah, you did.
Why? So one thing about camping is that it's not fun for either side. I can't imagine that it's amazingly fun for killers. As a killer myself, I really don't like camping because I get anxious about my next hit. Am I going to be able to do anything? I don't like it. I don't think I should be doing it. I think I should be doing other things like breaking stuff and chasing down gens and kicking and all that stuff. Survivors is obviously really not fun because you're just sitting there on the hook. If you're choosing to sit there on the hook and be a part of the team, excuse me, if you're sitting there, if you're choosing to be there, you're not DCing, you're not killing yourself on hook. You're being a part of your team by sitting on that hook. It's not super fun, but it is doing something. I'm quiet. You're saying I'm quiet? Hello? Closer? This is fun.
Yeah.
So, I don't know what he's doing, but he's, you know. This would be slugging and not finishing the game. Holding the game hostage.
Yeah.
Oh, I got quiet there? I'm sorry. It's probably because I was leaning away from my mic. I forgot where I was. You died! He's teabagging you.
Love that.
Now he speaks.
In terms of camping, the different ways of, like, countering camping, face camping, it's pretty much you have to be going in the intention of trading or getting lucky, or going with someone else to get that unhook. Whether you're trading as two people or trading as one, that's the only way of really doing it with face camping. Proxy camping, you can push as 2, or what I normally do is I wait for a window of opportunity, and then I will go and attempt to unhook safely.
Yeah. I forgot where it was. Lord, we were so interrupted. Camping.
I don't even know. Yeah, camping for sure, but
Going in with multiple people is the best thing you could do to try and get someone off the hook from being face camped. Being patient on the hook is a big thing. A lot of survivors these days aren't patient enough to wait for a survivor to get to them. And one of the biggest strategies that you could do is be willing to stay on the hook for camping. It's boring, and hopefully eventually your teammates will get a gen done and then come get you. But it is a strategy.
yeah. Now the biggest thing that we started talking about before doing the podcast, which was a good conversation pre-podcast, was the ways for the devs to change it. So I had recommended that we add a radius around the hooks. Whether that radius is 15, 20, 24, 30 meters, whatever they want it to be. I feel like if a killer is within that radius, you should not die on hook. That was my suggestion, so the timer does not go down if they're within that radius. Now, of course, there's the example of what if there's another survivor there that's being chased by the killer, because then you'll indefinitely not die. So the counter to that would be the game already knows when you are in a chase. So if the game knows that, then if you're a killer, let's say, and you're within that radius, let's say 24 meters, and you are actively chasing somebody within that 24 meters, the game knows you're chasing. So it could make it so the person on hook is dying because you're not proxying, you're not camping, because you are chasing somebody else. On the counterpart, if the game knows you're not chasing someone, like you're not in a chase, then the timer would not go down. That is, in my opinion, the easiest way to fix it. It might not be, the end all be all, the tunneling or camping, but that is the easiest way, in my opinion, to fix it.
The only thing I could say that might go against that is the fact that if a killer is camping and they see somebody come towards the hook and they chase, a lot of times to keep from getting downs, the survivors has to use the loops that are at hand, which might be right next to the hook, might be on the hook, might be a part of the hook itself. So I can see a lot of survivors getting mad at each other. Why are you chasing next to hook? Or why are you lead them away? But we all know that we get into these fixes where if I get hit again, I'm down, and then nobody's helping you. So let me try and loop next to you, but be aware that your timer's going down. I need to get away as fast as I can. How can I loop this the best way possible so that I can stay alive, get the save, or get away so somebody else can get the save?
Yeah, and in that account, if you are what's it called, if someone is there, if you are in a swift, it definitely makes that easier because you can communicate hey, I'm in a chase, whether I'm chasing with the killer around, say red is on hook and I'm being chased around the hook. If I'm in a swift with more than just red, I can be hey, I'm being chased, you can go for save and they're not going to touch you. But if you're not in a swift, it would sort of lie to one of the random survivors to notice you're being chased. So it's sort of like a communication thing with that change, I suppose. For someone to know hey, I can go get it because they're being chased, sort of thing.
Oh no, he got me with his whip.
Nemo. I need to reopen this. No, not Premiere Pro.
He's got Franklin's. That's amazing. He's got Franklin's and he's a smart cookie.
In terms of perks for countering camping, you have Reassurance, which is the new perk from Rebecca. So it essentially, when someone is on hook, if you're using Reassurance, not the person on hook, but the other survivors, it'll stop the timer. You could also use Deliverance, which will get yourself off hook if you're being face camped or proxied.
There weren't a ton of perks that helped with camping itself.
Yeah, there is sort of like BT if someone wants to run BT to get you off the hook, give you that extra like 10-15 seconds, whatever it is. But it's not like an end all be all because you do have a Nate. So I guess it depends on how long you're being chased for.
Dead hard for anybody that's trying to help get someone off the hook.
Yeah.
Gives you that extra little something.
But yeah, that is pretty much all of the tunneling, or no, all the camping perks that I can think of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tunneling is
do you want to
hard.
explain what?
Yeah,
okay,
tunneling is where you were just on the hook, and the killer makes a choice. If the killer is presented with a choice, or like not presented with a choice because your survivor friend didn't stick around, the killer essentially tunnels you off the hook, which means they're going on you right from the hook being, you be getting off the hook, and then the killer's on you again. They either chose to go on you and make
Tinker.
life difficult for you, or they aren't confident in their skills and know that you're easier to down than whoever else they've tried to chase, or you were just stupid, stayed around, and didn't have anybody heal you, just stayed around the hook, and then they chased you. I don't know. But getting chased right off hook for another hook state or to kill you is basically essentially tunneling.
Yeah. And in my opinion, tunneling to me is time dependent. So of course, like if it's right off hook, 100% you're being tunneled. If it's a case of, let's say, you know, you got off the hook 5 minutes ago and you've been healed, to me it's not tunneling. Even if he doesn't go for the other person, goes for you to get you to second hook, to me it's still not tunneling. You've had time. At that point, it's just a choice of going for the first person they've seen, for example. And then, like, if it's been, like, 5 minutes, you've been off hook, you didn't heal, that's kind of on you. So he might even be just going for the person who's injured to try and get an easier down.
Yeah.
But of course, like, you know, if he chooses to go for you after you were off hook, then 100%, like, he's tunneling.
Tunneling on purpose. It's miserable for survivors, especially because not all survivors are great at looping. Some survivors are great at doing gens, some survivors are great at saves, some survivors are good at looping, some survivors are really good at eruption. Great. Some survivors are great at, you know, not being seen. It's a choice, essentially, as a killer, when you're presented with somebody who just unhooked and somebody who was just unhooked. Choosing to go after somebody who's already in that injured state. I mean, dick move, yeah. Not only is it just against, you know, it's just rude. It makes people have miserable gameplay, and not have fun. It's not your responsibility for these people to have fun, but choosing to do that is always kind of like, if that's on you kind of thing. You're choosing to be the a-hole that nobody wants to play against.
Yeah.
So, you know, Sorry, it could also be a strategy that is, you know, a thing that you come up where it's the last gen or somebody just finished the last gen and you have no kills. That person just got unhooked. You want to kill, you go for the 1K.
Yeah, and if you would like a great example of tunneling, you can see what's happening in our game right now. I just unhooked the Kate, and she is now actively being chased.
Oh no, I can take a
again.
hit. Where is she?
I would love to. I don't know where she is. Oh, she's actually up here. Oh, Kate, sorry, go. We protect.
If I knew where she was, I would protect.
She's downstairs in the main office.
Oh, so I think he's on me now. He's not.
Kate. Mango, I tried.
Okay, wait. If he picks her up.
No, he's chasing me.
No, he's
Nope,
behind.
going for her.
Come back this way. Fuck yeah.
But yeah, in terms of
That's how you save someone from being
tunneling,
tunneled.
in terms of tunneling, ways of like perks in terms of getting rid of tunneling would
Still
be
chasing. I might go
if you're the
take
person not being tunneled, you can use BT to give that extra bit off hook. You could also, if you're confident enough in yourself, you can use for the people, so you give them a full health state immediately and take a health state off yourself. What else is there? If you're the person on the hook, you can use, say, like Dead Hard, or you can use DS, or you could also use Off the Record. So different things to give you endurance, so that way you're not just one hit.
Shit.
This is a cool zombie, man.
Whoa, he's camping? He made me drop my flashbang?
Killed herself.
Gimme. Yes! Firecrackers, don't get injured by Franklins! Let's go! I'm so excited! Anyways. Sorry.
All good. But yeah, there's way more. I did. It's gone now.
Perfect example of tunneling here. Kate got tunneled out of the game. She could have gone for another one, but she chose to kill herself. That's her choice. Tunneling is not great. He sees me. It essentially ruins the game for people, and it's important to know that it's a decision that people make, regardless of strategy. It still makes it so that people, you know, you're encouraging people to DC. You're encouraging people to kill themselves on hook because they don't want to deal with your tunneling, just like she's doing right here.
Yeah, and this is a perfect example of proxy camping. She's probably gonna kill herself if I had to guess. Yep. See, like right here, two people, one after another, offs themselves on the hook, purely because they don't want to be camped for, what is it, like 60 seconds or whatever per hook state.
This is a perfect camping tunneling killer. Are you ready to get Hatch King?
Yes.
I'm gonna do this gen till he catches me. Anywho, tunneling. How would the devs be able to get rid of tunneling? They've already done it once with a nerf to innate BT, where you get haste and endurance for, what, 10 seconds?
I believe it's 10 now, yeah.
Essentially, you are... I don't even know. Given that little buff.
Yeah, to sort of just give you an innate, like, extra life from being tunneled. There's not entirely a way for them to fully get rid of it. The only way that I can think of, which is a little ridiculous, to fully... Ooh, shit. Yep, he see me. To fully get rid of tunneling would essentially be to make it so when you get off hook, you are invincible.
I almost have last gen done.
Fuck.
Fine.
You are invincible until you are
Is he
healed.
slugging?
Yes. So this killer right here is a perfect example of all we're going to talk about today. He has proxy camped, he has tunneled, and now he is slugging. Perfect example of everything. It's great. But yeah, the only way that I can see them realistically getting rid of tunneling entirely is a little ridiculous. I do agree with that. It's the only thing I can think of, though.
I hope you're ready.
I am. Which is essentially just nice. But yeah, which is when you get off hook, you are invincible, so you cannot take damage from a hit until you are healed.
Okay.
But yeah, that's
I
what I
don't know
think
what
of
that
it.
hit was, but yeah. Anyways, this is the classic camping, tunneling, and slugging killer. It's not fun to play against. They're desperate for the 4K. I don't know why killers think that 4K is essentially the only way to win in this game, but you know, that's the mindset, and it's the mindset of
Yeah.
WK right now to get a 4K no matter what. As for me as a killer, I don't kill people. I go for as many points as possible every time I play. The only times I actually actively sacrifice people is when I am doing a challenge, and often or not, I will avoid those challenges at all costs. When it comes to tunneling, it's, I mean, BT. Somebody giving you BT, which is makes it longer than the 10 seconds, is good best practice. For the people, Lucky Break, anything that gives you the ability to run away and disappear without him following tracks, without him following blood marks, you know, anything like that helps immensely. Survivors having, what is it, for the people? No. Yeah, for the people. What's the one where you can, I'll stay alive so you can get your tries. What's the one that gives you the ability to instantly heal someone and take a broken save?
That is for the people.
Okay, for the people. What's the other one? Off the record. Great perk. It's, you know, distortion is also a good one to keep from being able to be seen. If you find you get tunneled a lot, or if you find you get found a lot, distortion is great. It keeps you off the radar.
Yeah.
If you're not good at looping, use distortion. I know it's not fun, and killers hate it when they can't see the auras of the people that they want to chase, but it is the way to do things that to get around what you're not good at. A lot of people will say get better, get good, whatever, but some people it's just not. Like, I have a hard time looping sometimes. Thank God for distortion, so I don't get found all the time. Distortion, like when aura reading, killers can see whose aura it is. If they've played long enough, they know exactly who it is they're chasing. And if they know that it's you and they know you're on your last hook state, they'll choose you to go after, so they get that kill. So Distortion is a great perk for fighting, tunneling. What other perks would you say? Resurgence is a good camping perk. I don't know. Dead Hard is it used to be better, but it's still worth. It still has worth when you can, you know, essentially Dead Hard, give yourself an extra hit. Sometimes Deception is good because if you're running and you have a chance to run past a strategic, you know, blocker, then the killer will take a few extra seconds to check that blocker, giving you a chance to go run away. It's all, you know, it's all relational on what's happening in the game, and you know, the choice of the killer versus the choice of other survivors. Other survivors taking a hit is another strategy to get rid of tunneling, essentially. When you're being tunneled, and I'm not saying you should sandbag. I'm definitely saying if you're good at looping, like, try and go the opposite direction from a gen that's being worked on. Don't sandbag people intentionally. But if you're a survivor that is not a part of the chase, you're not really working on anything. Even if you are working on something, you can choose to do this. Go take a hit. Go help that survivor out if you're not on your last hook state. Helping your team out, helping somebody survive longer, essentially helps the entire team have a better chance at surviving the entire game. So, taking that hit, if they go and start chasing you instead, and you have a hook state to give, great. If you take that hit and they still wanna go after the person being tunneled, sometimes they won't even try and hit you. If they do end up hitting you and you did take a protection hit, giving that person an extra, essentially an extra time to get away, or an extra hit to take, even better. Gives them a chance to get to the next loop, gives them a chance to maybe heal really quickly and give themselves an extra hit. It's all relative. But a lot of times, a lot of survivors are very, very not willing to take those hits, and then that's where the teamwork goes down the drain.
Yeah.
Yeah. There isn't really anything that I've ever thought of that gets rid of. Well, I have thought about. Once again, it comes back to points. Giving more points for someone that was not just on the hook. So, if the game could throw in a some sort of if-then, this person was not the last person hooked, then they can be worth 400 down points or 400 hook points rather than the 200 that it is. Giving killers an incentive to try and get more points. That doesn't necessarily change gameplay, and it definitely doesn't change the play of killers that literally don't care about points. They just want the kills every single time. They don't care if they got 15,000 or 40,000. It's essentially just for killers that actually go for as many blood points as possible. But that's the only thing that I could think of to give the incentive to not tunnel. It is a strategy, and it is a strategy. I mean, Behavior did put in something to keep people from doing it, to give that extra little tiny off the hook. But it's not a fun strategy.
Yeah, it's not a fix, it's a band-aid. But yeah, I definitely agree. I think incentives would be the best way, and it's super easy to program, and nobody at Behavior better tell me different, because it's literally just open a bracket, right? If blah blah blah, open a bracket, then boom, close both brackets. You're done. Super easy. But yeah, I literally think incentives would be great because then it would literally do exactly as I said. It would give the incentive to go after the other person because you would get, say, 1.5 or 2x times the amount of BP / points for the other person.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely yes. You could even give it a timer. Like if somebody doesn't want to heal themselves and they just start working on a gen and then they get found, that's not necessarily
Yeah, I feel like
tunneling. That's
maybe
that's their fault for not healing, or
I feel even like a 60 to 120 second timer would probably suffice, like a 1 to 2 minute timer.
Yeah.
Because most chases are off of a hook are not going to be that long.
Yeah. So we've already talked. Did we talk about perks helping with tunneling?
We talked about some,
Did we talk about
like
DS?
off the record DS.
Off the record DS, dead hard. If you're trying to help somebody, borrow time is great. It just gives that extra endurance haste effect. Lucky break. You said that. I said that. There's not really anything else I can think of that comes to, perks. Did we talk about resurgence for camping?
Yes.
Okay. I'm sure there's other perks that help with, essentially getting yourself away from the killer and not being able to be seen. Distortion, I already said, was a really good one that works for more than just tunneling, but it helps to not get seen every 5 seconds via aura reading. But, let's move on to our last topic, which is slugging.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So slugging, self-explanatory if you play this game. It is simply when you down somebody and you do not pick them up. Now for me, slugging, it depends on how you're doing it for me. So, blood favor, by the way.
Yeah.
There is slugging in terms of you are doing it to stop the game entirely. So you are downing, say like me, Red, and 2 other people are in a game. So you down me, and then you leave me, you go and you find someone else. That is slugging. So you continue to down when looking for someone else. So you're actively stopping the game. What it is slugging, but what is not as bad to me and what is not sort of slugging is if you down me and Red is there, everybody's gonna go for the other person, just in case they have some way of stopping that pickup. So also it glows, it goes, because I found other hex. But yeah, so it's situational for me. Of course, there is the normal slugging, which is you down someone, you do not pick them up, you go for the next person. But yeah, that is normal slugging. Okay.
Yeah, slugging and then there's the slugging where like there's nobody around. You leave them on the ground, you go find somebody else.
Yeah, like I'll slap it in 2 categories. There's strategic slugging and then there's slugging. Strategic is, to me, is mostly like I said, like you down me, Red is there, you're gonna go for Red. Strategic slugging.
I would be worried about me being around too. I'm pretty much almost always trying to get a head-on stun or a flashbang to get people off shoulders. So I would be worried about me too, and that's a legitimate thing. If I'm around and you see me around, yeah, I would go for me.
Yeah, and it also comes down to timing. So if you down me, I don't know, let's say you down me in Shack or around Shack or something, or main building, whatever, and you hear a gen going that you actively hear being worked on, you might decide, hey, I'm gonna leave this guy on the ground for a second, go get them off the gen, come back. That's fine, as long as it's not like you're downing me, downing the other person, and then going to down someone else, because then you're slugging. But if you slug me for a minute or whatever, like, it's not as bad. It just depends on how you do it, in what manner you're slugging. What kind of perks do we have for, like, countering slugging?
Perks for countering slugging. Actually, let's talk about, really quick, before we talk about perks for countering slugging, let's talk about how Dead by Daylight could change the game to counter slugging. And
this is a fun one.
They've already talked about doing this, but it ended up getting mashed in with the innate Memento Mori. And it ended up being not great. But what they tried to do was they tried to make it so that after, I don't even know how many seconds it was, after so many seconds, and it's a lot longer than just Unbreakable, you can get yourself up.
Yeah.
Innate Exponential or innate Unbreakable, but a longer span of time, ends up being almost the way you have to do it. Or putting, if there's more than 2 people on the ground, if there's more than 1 person on the ground, then it opens up the ability to get yourself up off the ground. Like something like that.
Yeah, like I feel the easiest way, and probably the way they're going to do it eventually, is exactly what you just said, where if you're on the ground for, let's say, i.e. 45 seconds, you then gain the ability to pick yourself up. Or if there are multiple people on the ground at the same time, as Red had just said, you again gain the ability to pick yourself up. She's got the perk where she kicks gens, it reveals.
I don't know where to hide.
Yeah. But yeah, that is the way that realistically, that is the only way they will fix slugging. Is giving us innate Unbreakable.
Are you gonna get hit?
Maybe.
Nope.
Too
you
good.
Can take him away. I can go get hit. I'm here.
Okay, she's slow. Look at that, she's coming for me. Nice girl. I'm gonna die here because I took a wrong path, but that's fine. I'll take it down. Or not. I don't know what the fuck she's doing. She being weird.
Well, for you, that's for sure.
Oh, I'm not gonna make this pallet. Rip. I'm under pallet. Oh.
Slugging! Oh, unslugging. I think I mean this way or that way?
Go the way we came. But yeah, the only realistic way I could see them fixing slugging in any way is giving us a innate Unbreakable.
I forgot that I didn't have the flashbang in my hand. I suck!
And like, to be honest, like, when this was all going down in the patch notes and whatnot for the PTB, when the devs said, we're gonna give survivors innate Unbreakable, all, like, I'm sorry if you're a killer main, but 90% of the killer mains were like, oh, well then we want innate Mori, so we don't have to bring a Mori. I don't think you need a counter to slugging. The 90% of you that slug, you are the reason we need a perk to be innate.
Go through, don't stop, go through, go through, go through.
And that is just how it is. You don't need it. If they want to put in the game, I mean, shit, go for it. Like, whatever. As long as they do it correctly. Like, you know, make it an actual Mori and none of this shit where it's like, if I down everybody, everybody dies. That just makes no sense at all. What's up?
I'm trying to make it to the next pallet.
But yeah, that's the only way I can see them fixing it fully. I can definitely.
Please tell me somebody's about to get a gen done.
I have no idea.
Yay! Where are you? I could use a heal.
I'm back where we were in that jungle gym on the other side of the house.
Oh, that's your boon. I'm coming.
Yep. She's coming to me, unless she's on you.
Not on me. I'm not that close.
Can I get this heal? I cannot. Fuck's sake. So close.
Is she chasing something?
We're in at least a 2 gen. I don't know about a 3 gen. But yeah, perks for slugging. I mean, technically there's only 2 I can think of, which is unbreakable and exponential. I can't think of anything else.
There's always the joke perk. What is it? Medal of Man or whatever. The day
Oh yeah,
the day
Medal of
perk.
Man, yeah.
You can get yourself.
So I
up
guess
in
there's
there.
that as well. But yeah.
Slugging. There's also any sort of perk that allows you to recover faster. I'm right here. Use faster.
Recover faster. Does tenacity do that, or is that just movement speed on ground?
Tenacity and is movement. No, tenacity covers a lot more things than just being on the ground. There's the one that allows you to crawl away and recover at the same time.
Oh yeah, that's tenacity, right? That does
I
that?
don't remember.
Because it also gives you 50% more movement speed or whatever.
Yeah. Oh, we didn't talk about boil over.
Mori.
Boil
Yeah,
over
boil
breakout.
over.
Boil over breakout is good. Breakout has to be run by teammates. You think she has discordance?
Possibly, yeah. I'm gonna go see how far this gen was, because there was someone in this gen. This gen's like 55%. She is too. Sag.
Great. Just great.
So we're gonna kick Jen before coming. Yep. She's going for me. You looking?
She's not
Oh,
me.
going for the injured one.
Oh, okay. Let's get back on him.
Can they stop looping beside the Jen?
Are they doing that?
Like it's so rude.
Be bold. Gonna do this?
Slugging.
Yep.
She's chasing me. She didn't kick,
You didn't push enough?
but she's gonna see you when she hits me. Ow. Rude.
I got a satisfactory. I knew it wasn't gonna make that, but I got a satisfactory. Where you going? He's coming after me. You might want to get him. Yeah. No? No, she's not.
Maybe kicking Jen.
She's coming after me now.
Alright, I'm gonna finish healing and go for save. She missed a skill check, I think.
She's on me.
Alright.
Keep breaking them. I will keep slamming those down.
Give me one sec,
Let's go
girl.
pass on
I need
this
to
one. Is she
kill
coming
this
back to
Jen
hook?
first.
She's coming back to hook.
Yep. She's coming back to the gen.
I'm circling around to the totem to heal myself. I wonder if you got rid of Devour.
Maybe. It's just pop,
Yeah,
I
so
think.
non-innate adrenaline will get you up off the ground if the exit gates are powered. What else?
Mm,
She's on.
go to me. Maybe. No.
Don't get hit, please.
Go to my boon, I think.
Shoot.
Yep, got rid of the boon. Now she's coming to me. Where's the third gen?
One back here behind the one that was going, and then one across map in a jungle gym, I think.
Did we do the house gen?
Yep.
Okay.
Pretty sure.
She's around me somewhere. I don't know where though. Oh shit. Okay, I found it. Yeah, it's on the other side of the house.
Split up.
I got her right now. If you can get back to that gen.
I'm going.
No, never mind. Yep, she leave me. She leave me.
Oh shit.
Got rid of a locker. Rough. Slugging? Oh, Morying.
She is for sure mooring. Stay on that gen. Still mooring.
It's a long ass Mori, man. Fuck.
She's gonna check
Oh
this
my god,
other one
Dylan,
first.
please. No, she's checking mine because I blew it up. Alright, I'm running. She's on me, but she's gonna see you in a second.
Fuck.
Nope, stayed on me. Nope, going for you.
Going for me.
Nope, stayed on me, stayed on me.
Okay, getting back on gen. How far was that gen?
Like 60 maybe? Oh my god, I might have just killed myself. Yep, I'm gonna moored over here. She's picking me up, actually.
You're gonna die
She
on the
does.
quick.
Oh, no, she's moving me so she can see the Mori. Love that.
It's a connoisseur of Moris. So slugging. We dropped our conversation.
Yeah, we did. Oh my god, why does my lung hurt?
Too much talking? Possibly?
No idea. Just like every time I breathe in, my lung hurts. That feels lovely.
Oh,
nice.
nice. Okay, where did we stop? We were talking.
Yeah,
about
it was
threats.
devouring.
Oh, we were talking about the behavior's possible ability to counter slugging, to discourage it, and that would be to have some sort of innate unbroken or innate unbreakable. It doesn't have to be innate all the time, but like if there's more than 2 people down on the ground, or there's one person down, and they try and go after other people after a certain amount of time, then you can bring yourself back up again. It's got a whole lot of like play in how long and if thens and all this stuff, but essentially making unbreakable the perk, instead of being the perk to get yourself off the ground, being the perk that makes it faster to get yourself off the ground.
Yeah.
And I think that's what we ended with.
Yeah, slugging, like, there's not... Oh my god, that hurts. There's not really a way to counter slugging unless you are running unbreakable or exponential. There's not a way for you as a player to stop a killer or counter a killer from slugging your lobby unless you run those perks. Besides that, there's no, like, nothing you can do as a survivor to counter that.
Being smart and strategic.
Yeah,
Not
I guess just
letting
like
the killer see you if you're
hiding.
coming up to someone. You know, all the essential, like, don't just run into the killer's face and expect to get somebody up off the ground because they'll just hit them down again.
Yeah, like, don't be seen.
You know, all those things that you can do just strategically in the game. Don't get somebody off the hook within 5 seconds right in front of the killer when they have a whole hook state to go through first. There's no rush. And I know a lot of survivors feel that they're not going to get off the hook if they don't get off within the first 5 seconds. You know, you get tunneled once and then you decide to DC or to kill yourself on the next hook. It doesn't do you any good to not play this game the way it was intended.
Yeah.
And it just ends up being hard to play, and it loses a lot of player base because of the toxicity that comes with these kind of play styles. Yeah, you could play that way as a killer, but do you really want to? Is it necessary? You know, no, it's not. Especially with all the perks that are available out there, definitely not necessary to camp and tunnel. Is it you know, if you're in a community as a streamer or a YouTuber, is it funny to have somebody challenge you to be a camping bubba or a basement bubba or do some sort of challenge? Yes, but I don't support doing it all the time, especially when you know that it makes other people miserable. When you absolutely know that it makes others in this world, like, hurt in some way, and it ruins the game for them. Maybe they're a little sensitive and a little fragile, but doing it on purpose just to get that kind of reaction for people, it says something about who you are.
Yeah, like I think like if you're like a streamer or like a YouTuber or whatever, and you want to do a challenge that's like basement bubba or basement trapper, like that's not as bad if it's like a basement challenge. But if it's just like, hey, you have a donation goal that if I donate $5 to you, you will camp the next person, that's a toxic trait. If it's just a challenge thing where it's like, hey, I don't fucking know, like you donated to me, whatever, and you're like, hey, do Bubba basement next game. Sure. Whatever. It's very like whatever. But it's like obviously they're not, unless your community's toxic, it's not gonna be like every game someone's donated to you and being like Bubba, because at that point as well, you need to take the initiative and just be like, I'm bored of doing basement bubbas for the last 2 hours. You know, I'm not doing anymore.
Yeah, and you know, these are all three of these topics are really hot topics right now, and they're always going to be hot topics for killers. And it comes down to a lot of people think that the Dead by Daylight community is super toxic, and you know what? When it comes to these styles of play, it can get there, but it overshadows some of the communities that we have for Dead by Daylight that are super positive communities. People that, you know, promote healthy communities, mental health, and all that stuff through game, and they use Dead by Daylight to do it. They have a good attitude about whatever's happening to them. They are GG move on kind of players, and I think that these three hot topics kind of overshadow the fact that Dead by Daylight really does have a good positive community.
Yeah.
And it's a shame that these are the things that happen within Dead by Daylight. Yeah, it would be a lot better if killers got, you know what, if they want to do those things, great. Just make sure that they get a minus in some sort of column if they choose to do it that way.
Yeah, like the game, at the end of the day, like if the game devs don't want to do something like give us innate perks and whatnot, I get it, but you need to have negatives for people who do them. So like if you slug whatever, like you get minus points. Like they need to just do something that discourages people from playing in that manner, because at the end of the day there's not an NWL way of playing, but it's mostly like to do it. So there just needs to be incentives as well as negatives to doing certain things. I think is the best, like the cleanest way of doing it to make everyone happy.
Yeah, don't take it out of the game, just make it a negative. Like if it's something that people are doing for a challenge, then that's what they take to make that sort of, and it doesn't come down to like, yeah, it's a strategic way to play the game. It's a strategy. It's a legitimate strategy, especially with the way that Dead by Daylight is not discouraging that kind of play. But in doing so, they kind of discourage the positive parts of this community. It gets overshadowed, and it's a shame to see a lot, especially because a lot of players do have a problem with GG move on, or they do rise to the occasion and they want to say nasty things because they didn't have fun and you did that on purpose. I can see where people feel personally attacked in doing this. I'm about to get farm pop-up. Please don't tunnel me. Yeah, I see where people feel personally attacked because it is a choice for a lot of killers to play that way.
And it doesn't make sense in terms of points or winning the game. It's just, you know, it's there. It's a part of the game. It's a shame that the toxicity of it overshadows everything else. But you know, it's completely controllable on the dev side. Can I get thanks?
At the
Bye,
end of the
Cheryl.
day, for people who are survivors and they are being tunneled, they're being camped, being slugged. At the end of the day, I'm gonna say 50% of those people are looking for your reaction. Don't satisfy them. I know you're mad after being tunneled. I know you're mad after being slugged. In the post game, just simply say nothing or GG's and click next game. Just don't feed them, because as I said, around probably a good 50% of them are legitimately only looking for your reaction. It fuels them. They have fun by having these like rage reactions.
Their fun is not in
But
the
just
game.
don't
Their fun
feed them.
is off of reactions.
Yeah.
And you can
he's
see
also
those
being
people
proxied.
when you get in end game. You can definitely see the people that get that. He's gonna kill himself if he doesn't. There we go.
Got him.
How
does he get me through
people
him?
that are looking for the reactions. You can see the people that are choosing to play the way they play because they think it's funny and they get a kick off of it. And you know, it's not all killers. It's not everybody that does that. Some of it is strategy, the legitimate strategy if they're losing gen pressure or something. But you know,
Yeah.
it's
And like most of the time, you'll notice who's doing what, because if someone's losing pressure, they're not going to camp or proxy every single person. It'll be like, let's say nobody's died, you're in a situation where there's 2 gens left. They might proxy a person to either get them out of the game or to simply get them a hook stage. So you'll see that, but someone who's looking for reactions will probably do it each and every time. They'll play like a douche to round off people who are looking for reactions. They will play to annoy you, to get you mad, to get the post-game reactions. If you're a Twitch streamer, they want to get your live reactions to throw it into YouTube videos or compilations or the little TikTok clips. Like, they're looking for that. They strive off of that. So don't give them the satisfaction. He's overcharge.
he's on me.
He's also pallets. So
Is
watch
he?
that.
Great.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's gonna kill me. Yay! I got away. I'm so sorry. I didn't realize you were there.
You're good, you're good. He's on me.
I'm so sorry.
Fuck, I didn't look at windows beforehand. I don't know if this is a fake pallet or not, but I'm dropping it. It was a real one, thank God.
Yay.
Some of these are definitely fake over here. There's fucking like 4 pallets right here. Some of this shit definitely
Yeah,
fake.
he's still here.
I don't know where the fuck he went. Yeah, man's left me hard.
I need a friend. I need a buddy. I'm so sorry. Take hit, please, Cheryl. Oh, buddy Ace. Buddy Ace. Buddy Ace. Oh, good hit. Fuck. Why?
Yeah, he's still chasing you.
Dang it! I was over that window. Can we talk about window hits?
Dude, literally. Can they nerf windows, please? I want old windows
Not for
back.
survivors! Don't nerf it for survivors. Nerf it for killers. They shouldn't be able to swing through fucking solid.
I want old windows back.
Right.
And it's also, here's another thing with camping, tunneling, and slugging. Yes, it's always been in the game, but it's so much more prevalent now. Like back in the day, 2015, 16, 17, stuff like that, it was there. People did it, but it wasn't like now. You never really seen it back in the day, but it was there.
He's slugging me? Or he's slugging?
Love that. Did he pick you off
Picked
something?
me off of a fucking window, and I had haste and endurance.
We love
Really
that.
doesn't cover that. Speaking of cuddling.
You're not
I eat.
ready? How are you not ready?
I eat.
This is fake.
The tunneling is, you know, it doesn't feel good.
Yeah,
It feels
like this
personal
TTV
attack.
is being tunneled hard.
Especially, I'm a TTV, and I was tunneled hard. His guy has, and that's the thing, you know, this guy's a TTVer, but
Were we live when we played against that I hate TTVs or whatever that guy's name was? Were we live?
oh my god.
Because that was a bad day for you.
I think I might have. It didn't get to me though. We moved on. We got him twice in a row. I think I was live, and he was stream sniping.
Yeah, you would have been because you only put TTV in your name when you're live.
Yes, yes. I don't play with TTV in my name unless I am live. I hate it when people do that.
So you would have been live, yeah.
So, it that is an instance. If you're a TTVer, people will. If you put TTV in your name, it is a risk that you take. People absolutely, for some reason, they absolutely hate seeing TTV or YT on your name, and you'll be targeted. Will it give you a good chance to learn how to loot better? Yes, absolutely. You're gonna get targeted. You're gonna be able to get into more chases. People are gonna actually look for you. But will it get you camped and tunneled
Talking
more
about being
often?
tunneled.
Yes.
Oh, I'm being tunneled now. Oh, well, I led him to him. Sag.
You are the
Sorry.
best sandbagger.
Literally.
And King Patch King
Yep,
Sandbagger.
Patch King.
Yeah. It's a part of the game. It's not going to change anytime soon. So you kind of have to walk into this game looking to just move on to the next game. The next game will be fun. Hopefully these games aren't lasting an hour for you. We should talk about meta. Do we want to talk about meta today, or do we want to move on and make that a next?
Probably make it the next one.
Okay.
Oh my god, I'm dead.
Metas through the ages of community. There we go.
Yeah.
It's, you know, it's just a part of the game. You have to come into it with a move on mentality. Like, it happened, whatever. It's a game. I can't get mad. Let's try and focus on the next one, because the next one could be completely different.
Yeah, and the biggest thing with DBD is a lot of people who leave the community are people who let it get to them.
Yes.
Because they're like, oh, I don't like the play styles killers play in terms of like being slugged, being camped, being tunneled. You gotta not let it get to you, because it is part of the game right now. You're gonna see it every single game. I promise you're gonna see one of the three every single game. You just gotta let it not affect you. You need to just not worry about it at all.
I'll say legitimately, I have 3,000 plus hours in this game. I've played a lot. I've played on Xbox. I've played on PC. I've come across a lot of different players, a lot of different survivors, a lot of different killers. And, you know, at one point I had so many friends that played the game that I had to jump lobby to be able to play with them all, because we were only allowed to play 4 at a time. Now, not that I don't like it, but Hardy is pretty much my only friend that plays, because I feel like I have to force anybody else to play with me. And then even then they're like, are you sure we can't play another game? I'm like, please play DBD with me. I'll try and make it fun. TTV, I can't tell if she's getting tunneled or if you're being chased.
I think I'm being chased.
Okay. Yeah, it's just through the ages. It's always been there, and the toxicity of it overshadows any other positive aspect of this game. It's very unfortunate. We lose a lot of people that would be otherwise willing to play if they didn't come up against that stuff. That's pretty much the basis of everything. We're not saying don't do it. We're saying do it strategically and don't be an ass about it. don't intentionally go in looking to ruin people's days. That's just being a bad human in general.
Yeah.
Do unto those of you as you would have done unto you. Is that what that is?
It's something like that, yeah.
Something. It's a good rule to live by, and I would not want to, intentionally try and hurt people. So that is why I play the game the way I do. I never try and kill people. The only times people have been killed in my lobbies have pretty much been killing themselves on hook and or not getting picked up off hook. So yeah,
it's a choice. It's always a choice, and the mentality of both sides is, it's the difference between those that keep playing this game and those that play fairly. Learning to stop is the biggest thing I've had to learn over the years. Learning when.
My God, I can't wait for us to talk about meta.
Meta's a whole nother cesspool of toxicity that is amazing when it comes to different killers.
With this man's stream, he has 3 meta perks. 4 actually, but.
Are you looking at? Oh, you're looking at the stream right now. I can't.
Yep.
I don't want to go do that because I don't want to use his. I don't want to use his.
So he has Eruption, Overcharge, Call of Brine, Save the Best for Last. 4 meta perks.
And he's lucky. Perfect instance. She was nowhere near him. She was nowhere near that down. She wasn't trying to get the save. She wasn't doing anything. He intentionally left the person on the ground to go find this person for the poor kid. It's being sweaty. I mean, is it a loss if I don't hook that? I don't think Now let's see what they do for the last person. Do they let him out or do they kill him?
I'm gonna go with the kill him.
Anyway, so we're gonna talk about meta next. In the next podcast. Metas. The podcast after that, we are going to talk about killers and where they reign. He left him on the ground to close the hatch.
Don't waste my time like that. Just fucking kill me.
I think that if you're on the ground for more than so many seconds, you should be able to cleanly DC. It should be your choice to stay in the game or to DC if you're left slugged on the ground.
100%.
Endgame for so many seconds. Or just to not DC, just choose to end game.
So anyways, yeah. Thank you for listening to our 3rd podcast for No One Escapes Death, a Dead by Daylight podcast. I am Big Red Nerd. Say your name.
Ben Dillon or Hardy,
Hardy
whatever you
Hardy
prefer.
Boy. And we are your hosts for No One Escapes Death.
Thank you for listening. If you guys want to help us out, go ahead and throw the either YouTube channel or the Spotify a like or a subscribe. It is free to do. Just to know when we're coming out with the next podcast, go ahead and press that little bell button so that you get notifications. We truly appreciate it. It's costs nothing to support, and it helps some starving content creators. Not that I'm one of those, but it's pretty awesome to hear that people actually want to listen to our podcast. So I hope you guys have a wonderful night. We'll see you next time in No One Escapes Death.
You're done.
Cole.
There's some portions there that we should probably cut out.
Cut out? Yeah, 100%. We had a lot of portions that were just like nothing. We were concentrating.
This is great. We could put this in there, or we could talk about, we should put this, I'm still recording.
Mhm.
This is someone who is just doing this to do this. What is he saying in his stream?
Well, he said, I'm gonna pee myself for that, and I don't know what he's talking about. He's laughing. He was pretty chill up until this point, I will say.
Laughing about it? Sad. Yeah. Fun stuff.
Does he just have a link to Instagram itself?
What?
He literally does. So, like, I was in his bio or whatever, and he's got an Instagram link. It leads to Instagram homepage.
That's funny.
It doesn't have an actual, like, Instagram link to a page.
That's funny. Okay. Well. I'm down to play more. If you want to. I do have
I unfortunately do have to get going
Okay, I
though,
was gonna
because
say.
I work early, but...
First time chatter, GG. I was the Freddy. Hello, Shotgun.
Oh shit, Shaka, what up? How's Nancy?
We're in the middle of our podcast. Yeah. Welcome to No One Escapes Death, a Dead by Daylight podcast. All right. So you're gonna get going. I'm gonna stop recording.
Yeah.